Under the shadow of dim-lit warehouses and with the front of legitimate trade routes, one of the biggest drug smuggling operations in UK history unfolded. It was a sprawling empire, masterminded by a man known only to his closest accomplices as the Big Fella. This empire, led by Paul Green, smuggled drugs worth billions of pounds into Britain, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake and ultimately unravelling due to silly mistakes and greed. Paul Green, 59, from Widnes, Cheshire, wasn't your typical criminal. With no prior convictions, his life appeared pretty normal to those who didn't know better. However, this seemingly ordinary man had masterminded a smuggling operation so vast that it managed to evade detection for years. Green was the nerve centre of a colossal network that funneled heroin, cocaine, cannabis and amphetamines from the Netherlands into the UK, often concealed in shipments of onions, garlics and ginger. Which is totally random in my opinion, but whatever gets the job done, eh? The scale of the operation was staggering. An estimated 50 tonnes of drugs were imported, weighing as much as 30 family-sized cars. To achieve this, the gang exploited legitimate haulage companies, set up front businesses and rented warehouses across the UK, from Sheffield to Preston and beyond. Between 2016 and 2018, they smuggled at least 240 consignments of drugs, often making up to 4 shipments a week. Green didn't work alone. His empire spanned borders, enlisting criminals from across the UK and the Netherlands. Another key member of this empire was Sohail Qureshi, 64, originally from Glasgow but residing in London, who played a pivotal role in connecting the British gang with Dutch operatives. Qureshi's partner in crime, Khalid Vizier, 58, helped establish the UK front businesses and assisted Dutch boss Barbara Reinbout in setting up fraudulent bank accounts. Together, they forged an international network that thrived on deceit and exploitation. In the Netherlands, the syndicate was supported by figures like Joe Hansvesters, 54, and Reinbout, 53, who oversaw the European side of the operation. Back in the UK, figures like Mohammed Oveis, 46, were tasked with distributing the smuggled drugs to local criminal organisations. But the network wasn't without its flaws. Former taxi driver Ghazen Mahmood, 53, a Danish national originally from Pakistan, was one of the weaker links. Mahmood's role was to travel to Spain and the Netherlands to facilitate operations, but his lack of sophistication stood in stark contrast to Green's calculated leadership. The operation might have gone unnoticed for even longer if not for a series of blunders. In September 2016, a Dutch haulage driver unwittingly became a whistleblower when he noticed things that did not look quite right in a shipment. Alerting authorities, his suspicions led to a discovery of 8 1-kilogram bricks of cocaine. This was the first crack in Green's empire. A month later, another shipment, 57 kilogram of amphetamines worth over £1 million, was intercepted after Dutch police, who had placed key gang members under surveillance, recorded incriminating conversations. Among the captured operatives was Russell Leonard, a 47-year-old foot soldier who spoke fluent Dutch. Leonard's failures was one for the books. He and an unnamed accomplice left a van loaded with drugs unattended in Amsterdam while they went on a night-long drinking spree. By the time they returned, Dutch police had the van and Leonard's fate sealed. Green's frustration at these mistakes was evident in intercepted communications, including messages on his encrypted EncroChat phone under the alias Duck Farmer. In one furious exchange, Green warned his other associates, if the van's gone or been grabbed by the police, then there'll be fucking murders. But no amount of threats could salvage that operation. Law enforcement, led by the National Crime Agency and their Dutch counterparts, worked tirelessly to dismantle the network. For a combination of surveillance, wiretaps and seized evidence, they exposed the gang's infrastructure, uncovering how they used strong-smelling food shipments to mass drug scents and recycled their onion stockpiles to maintain appearances. The legal process was as colossal as the crime itself. The first trial, lasting a record 23 months, was followed by a second trial that spanned 9 months. The sentences were monumental, with 12 gang members collectively receiving over 246 years in prison. Paul Green, the mastermind, was sentenced to 32 years for drug conspiracy and fraud. His right-hand man, Stephen Martin, 53, received 28 years, while distributor Mohammed Oveus was handed 27 years. Russell Leonard, the drunken smuggler, was sentenced to 24 years. Dutch operatives Vesters and Rainbow received 20 and 18 years. Amongst the other convicted were Vizier, who received 20 years, and Qureshi sentenced to 25 years for his critical role in forging the Dutch connection. Mahmoud, despite his relatively minor role, was sentenced to 3 years and 9 months. The operation's ripple effects were felt far and wide. Amongst the gang's customers, John Kinsella, a notorious Merseyside enforcer who met a violent end in 2018, shot dead while walking his dogs. Meanwhile, innocent haulage companies and businesses unwittingly entangled in the syndicate's web faced reputational damage. Sarah Drysdale, specialist prosecutor from the Crown Prosecution Service, said, "This case is believed to involve the largest ever drug smuggling operation ever detected in the UK. The scale of the importations was immense and the total value of drugs was worth up to an estimated £7 billion. The defendants convicted in this case included several of the higher level organisers who financed and organised the drug shipment and who went to extraordinary and complex lengths to disguise their involvement. The series of conspiracies to import drugs into the UK culminated in an alliance between the UK and Dutch organised crime gangs to import drugs predominantly on behalf of others. This was a highly organised operation bringing 3 to 4 shipments of drugs a week and involving hundreds of kilos of drugs. We would like to thank the comprehensive investigation work of the National Crime Agency. They provided the evidence needed to build a prosecution case which enabled us to seek justice against these 18 convicted defendants. We also extend our thanks to the Dutch investigating authorities for their assistance in the provision of key evidence. We will be pursuing confiscation proceedings against defendants convicted in this case to recover money and assets they gained from their criminality. The downfall of Green's empire is a testament to the persistence of law enforcement and the power of international cooperation. It's also a sobering reminder of the lengths criminal organisations will go to exploit legitimate systems for their gain. While justice was served, the story of the big fella and his billion-pound empire will undoubtedly remain a cautionary tale for years to come. That's it for this video. Shout out to you if you're still listening by this point. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all of that. Again, thanks for watching. See you next time.